We're at day 150. Whoa. I'm excited to bring today's poet to you, Yusef Komunyakaa, his poem Sunday Afternoons. And like I often like to do, I want to just keep a few threads from video to video going. So this poet, Yusef Komunyakaa, I mentioned back in mid-July because he does a fantastic job interpreting and reading carefully Frost's classic World War I poem, Not to Keep. Komunyakaa is himself a veteran. Besides that connection, though, one of the things that I noted in the last video from that terrific Michel Boisseau poem is just my admiration for poets and poems that can keep two opposing and contradictory seeming ideas, maybe even not just seeming, but contradictory ideas together and hold them in the same poem and not try to resolve them, but to lay them side by side. I think that is just a capacity that great poems have. And this poem, to me, is a great example of that. So before I read the poem, I just want to read again that quote from John Keats, the Romantic poet, who said that negative capability is when a human being is capable of being in uncertainties, mysteries, doubts, without any irritable reaching after fact and reason. And I think that negative capability is absolutely illustrated in this poem, Sunday Afternoons. It's written about boyhood and childhood, but then you have the double lens of the poet as an adult reading it, remembering it. So here we go. Sunday Afternoons by Yusef Komunyakaa. They'd latch the screen doors and pull Venetian blinds, telling us not to leave the yard. But we always got lost among mayhaw and crabapple. Juice spilled from our mouths, and soon we were drunk and brave as birds diving through saw vines. Each nest held 3 or 4 speckled eggs, blue as rage. Where did we learn to be unkind? There in the power of holding each egg while watching dogs in June dust and heat? Or when we followed the hawk's slow, deliberate arc? In the yard, we heard cries fused with gospel on the radio, loud as shattered glass in a Saturday night argument about trust and money. We were born between oh yeah and God damn it. I knew life began where I stood in the dark, looking out into the light, and that sometimes I could see everything through nothing. The backyard trees breathed like a man running from himself as my brothers backed away from the screen door. I knew if I held my right hand above my eyes like a gambler's advisor, I could see how their bedroom door halved the dresser mirror like a moon held prisoner in the house. That was Yusef Komunyakaa's Sunday Afternoons. What do I love or admire about this poem? Like I said at the beginning, its capacity to hold contradictory things and how overwhelming for a child. And we don't know exactly the age of the poet speaker, when he's remembering this, but how overwhelming to have kind of these two things, intimacy, and it appears maybe sexual intimacy at the beginning, like they're latching the screen doors, pulling the Venetian blinds, get out of here, kids, in the same poem as a really a violent seeming fight, right? There's shattered cries fused with gospel on the radio, loud as shattered glass. So there's in the image just a violence of the argument. Both of those things, the poet speaker at that age is not able to fully comprehend them, and they coexist in the poem and in this memory. And the poet doesn't try to resolve them, but just makes them more vibrant and alive and overwhelming for the child to comprehend. So that's, I think, what I love the most about this poem. And I feel like, in addition to presenting those images really powerful to us, there is, like, in the language itself, some of that argument of the overwhelming nature and the contradictory nature of this revelation that the poet as an adult writing the poem gets. And so for me, the line that I want to close with and just kind of linger with and sit with is right after in that stanza that begins, "We were born between oh yeah and God damn it." And then the poet says, "I knew life began where I stood in the dark, looking out into the light, and that sometimes I could see everything through nothing." For me, I find that beautiful as a poet because it really it expresses a belief and a trust in language and memory's capacity to try to hold together things that don't seem to make sense. And I think that's what great poets are trying to do, sometimes succeeding, sometimes not in their work. So my 2 cents on Yusef Komunyaka's Sunday Afternoons. Recommend all this poet's work. He's been doing terrific work for years. So check him out. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a good rest of your day.